Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and welcome to my channel, Cherished Memories Crochet. This is part 3 of our sleepy-eyed bunny security blanket, and this is what you should have done so far. We've got the blanket, the head, and you should have 2 arms and 2 ears. And today I'm going to show you how to attach the arms and the ears and how to do the eye and the nose. And I will put a link to part 1 and part 2 in the description box. So we'll get started on the arms first. Don't forget to just stuff the hand part of the arm, and we don't stuff the ear at all. Okay, so I like to, excuse me, I like to close up the end here of the arm and the ear. So just take your tail, just go back and forth. Until you have it closed up. Okay. And I know my tail is too long, but I always like to have too much than not enough. Okay. So I've got that closed up. And now you're going to put it, see how we put it halfway. If you turn your bunny sideways like that, it needs to be halfway right there in the head. So we're going to turn around and we're going to do that to this one. So we're going to put it halfway between each side of the head. And then just turn it and make sure, well, I need to get back a little bit more, that it looks okay. And I think that looks good. So now what we're going to do is I'm not going to move it. And I've got this string here a little bit too far down, so I'm just going to go back up and bring it to the top a little bit more there. Okay. Okay, then you've got your bottom, the bottom line here of your head, the stitches. You're just going to want to grab one of those and take it through. And once you get it attached on there, it's a lot easier. Okay, just like that. So now it's attached, and we're just going to come back through here like that. And try not to get your yarn tangled because it is easy to do. Just like that. Now you're going to go to this next loop and just catch on to a loop on the head like that. And then go on through. And then bring it back through like that. And just keep doing this. Go ahead and go all the way to the end here and then come back to the starting point right here. Do that and I'll meet you right here and I'll show you what to do on the bottom. Okay. I'm all the way to the beginning point again. And now make sure it's snug and turn it and make sure that you're satisfied with where it's laying. So now what we're going to do, we've got the top nice and secure. You're going to flip that arm up and we need to secure it on this side. So I'm just going to go up through some loops And I'm going to attach it to a loop on the head. And make sure you get those sides down good. And then come up through the arm. I'm going to go grab a loop on the head again. And go ahead and do this the same that we did on the top. You're going to go all the way to the end here and then bring it back over to the beginning. And I'll meet you here when I've got mine secure. Okay, I've made it to the beginning. So go ahead and make sure it's sewn on there pretty good. And I see where there's like a small gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go put my needle through here, and I'm going to bring it out kind of where that gap is, that I'm just not satisfied with it. And then I'm going to go grab me some loops here. And that looks much better. So now I'm going to go back up in that loop. I'll explain this just in case it happens to you. And then I'm going to go back through the back. Try to get back where I was. Okay. And now I'm at the end. Okay, now we're going to tie it. I like to do 2 ties, just so it never comes loose. And I'm going to do one more. Okay, now I've got it tied 2 times. Now what we're going to do before we cut off is we're going to go just up inside that arm. Oops. Don't let it come out the other end. Just take it up and anywhere come out of that arm. Just like that. Now go in a different hole and come out a different hole. And just make sure it doesn't come out the other side. And this is just to secure the tail. And then just take it through again, like that. Now kind of pull your yarn a little bit and cut off. And there's your arm. And like I said, I have way too much tail there. Okay, so now we'll do the ear. I've already enclosed the end there. Okay. And let's see, counting down from the middle hole, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I sewed this one on between the 4th and the 5th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. So I'm going to want to do it in this row here. So I'm going to put my needle there. I'm going to try to line it up with this. Since I've already got one ear, it makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have the ear, you've got your arms, and just kind of try to line it up like that. So I think that right there is pretty straight. So I'm going to take my needle, go to the end here, and it's basically just how you did the arm. Get it secure on there. And now we're just going to go back and forth. We'll go in here, and then make sure you go right back into that same row. And then come back out this side. I hope you can see that pretty good. Bring it on out this side and just keep doing that all the way to the end. Whoops, I hit my camera. And go ahead and make it to this end and then come back to the beginning and I'll meet you here. Okay, I've made it all the way to the beginning here. Now we're going to flip it over the ear and we're going to do the same as we did with the arm underneath. You're just going to go catch some of those bottom loops here. And just make your way to the end here and then come back to the beginning. And go ahead and do that and I'll meet you here at the beginning. Okay, I'm back to the beginning. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure that it's even and everything, and I think mine is. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of knots. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go up in that ear. And come out. And go in a different hole. And this is just to secure that tail in there. And there's the ear. Okay, so now we're going to start on the nose. I know I already have the eye here, but it's a lot easier if you do the nose first, and then you can go off of the nose to make your eye even. So I'm going to get some pink yarn. Make a long tail. Okay, so I go counting this row here. This is row 1. This is where you did your magic circle and stuff. I go count down 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then between the 10th and the 11th is where I'm going to do the nose. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this even. Let's see. You want to have at least 3 stitches. Let's see, there's like 1, 2 between the eye there. And then if we go up here, 1, 2. Let's see. Trying to get it in line with the eye here. This is why you do the nose first. 1, 2. And then if I go here, there's 1, 2, and I start the eye. That's not going to be good. So I'm going to go over more like this. Sometimes your stitches are not going to line up good, and that is what's happening right now. Let me go ahead and put you on pause so I can study it just another second. Okay, I found where I want it. So you're going to want to have 3 stitches here. And you're going to want to leave a tail so we can sew that in. And look what I've done here, which is easy to do, so just be careful. Especially when you have too long of a tail. And I think I'm going to cut some off here in a second. Okay, here's the tail I'm going to leave. Just bring this on through. Okay. Okay, so I left a little tail here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here to where we inserted our yarn. And I'm going to pull this up because you're going to want to work underneath every stitch here. So see how I'm going underneath? This will keep your nose lined up. Let's see. Because you don't want to have yarn on top up here and then come back down to the bottom. You want them all lined up, all the rows. And just pull it. Just like that. And don't pull it too tight. Now we're going to go do another one. So I'm going to make sure I have this lifted up just a little bit and go in through the same holes. See how I'm doing? And now pull it through. And I do this about 3 or 4 times. Just depends on what yarn you're using and how thick it is. I'm trying to keep her close enough where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more. See how I have them all lined up? I don't have like this one up here. Okay. And I recommend to do this kind of slow. Okay. So I think that's all I want to do there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the little middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up through here. Wait, let's see. Trying to remember how I did this. You're going to have to catch a loop in the middle here, like that. And try not to pull too much on your yarn. You can go up top or up through the bottom, but it's easier to do it right here on the top. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my needle and I'm going to go underneath all that, just like that. And then I'm going to come down here. It doesn't matter how far you go down. I'm going to pick the one that will line up better. Maybe right here. And I don't like that one. So I'm going to try to go back through there and get that out of there. Okay. With these single crochets, it's kind of hard. I'm going to go right there to line it up even. I'm not real satisfied with that one either. I wonder if I go down. That's kind of too far. Well, I'm going to make this work. So go ahead and go back up through here just like that. And I've got that gap there, so I'm going to try to fix that, because my stitches didn't really line up that good. So I'm going to go ahead and catch on to where I was, where I first attached it. And my yarn went the wrong way there. So I'm hoping I can fix this easy. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to go back under here. And I'm going to try to go, I want that gap fixed. So I'm going to go in between that thread. Then I'm going to go right back up there. There we go. And that looks pretty good. So that's all I'm going to do. You can do more if you want. So see how here's the tail we left? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go under here, underneath that nose, and bring that through there, because I want my two ends to be close to each other. And now I'm going to cut a lot of this excess off there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tie this. Now I'm going to take my needle out real quick. Just like that. Okay. This one here is a little bit short, but I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to go through the head and out through the bottom. See where my needle just came out? I'm going to pull that. Now I'm going to cut the end there, just like that. Going to get the other end, and I'm going to do the same thing with it. Go through the head and come out through the bottom, just like that. Well, I got the wrong one. I thought I attached the one I cut off, I think. Okay, now here we go. Now go through the bottom. Okay. And just make sure you don't pull it too tight. And then cut it. And that's what it should look like. Okay. I'm going to get my stuff ready for the eye. Okay, I've got embroidery yarn, or thread. And what we're going to do now is, this one here, we've only got one line of stitches. We're going to just do one line of stitches in between. And like I said, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes with these single crochets. I think it'd be right here, and I went up 1, 2, the top of the second. Let's see, no, that would be, there's 1, 2, 3. I went up 3, and on top of that one is where I inserted the thread. And then, oop, I lost my place here. I think it's right there. And then you're going to come kind of slant it over and go over to the next line, like the bottom of it, of the next row, like that. Kind of like that. And you're going to take it through, but you're going to leave a tail like that. Okay. So now we're going to, I got to bring my thread through though. If I can get a hold of it. Okay. Now we're going to skip over one stitch, and we're going to go into the next one. See, we're going to skip that and go in here. And I'm trying to look at my other one too. And then come out like that. And each eye, they don't have to look identical because it's kind of hard, because you're going to have a smaller single crochet than over here. And okay, so we went in and did a slant and came on the other side, and then we went over top of a single crochet and out the other side. Oops. So now we're going to do kind of a little slant again, but it will be just on top of this row where you started. So I'm going to go, let's see, I guess right here. So I'm going to insert my hook, but I'm going to come out through this one here, the last one we did, in that same hole. And then pull it slowly so you don't get it all mixed up. And this one won't be as good as that one because I'm just trying to hurry up. Okay, so now we're going to jump over here to this one. And then we're just going to go up underneath it because we're going to fill in the gaps. Just like that. And now we're going to fill in this gap. We're going to come up. And we need to come back down here. Just like that. And now you can leave it just one single or go back over them another time. I'm going to put you on pause and I'm going to go back over and back over. Okay, so I went all the way over and I'm all the way back almost. I'm right, let's see, where did I go? I'm right there, so I'm going to go in here and then back up. Just like that. And when you're satisfied, go ahead and take your needle out. And we're going to do, oops, 2 knots. Just like that. I'm going to get my needle. I'm going to try to put both these strings in here at once, see if I can. Well, I know I can with my bigger one. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in that same hole, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to go through that head and out through the bottom. And if you want to put an extra knot down here to secure them, you can, but I think that's good enough. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off. And then if you've pulled your strings a little bit tight, like I think I did right there, You can kind of pull them just a little bit. And like I said, you can, I pulled that too much. You can go up underneath the head down here and tie it. I might do that in a minute. And that way you don't have to worry about it coming loose up here. And there it is. There's your sleepy-eyed bunny. And I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And hopefully I'll see you there. Bye-bye.